Hello, everybody. Sorry about all that problems. My parents' internet was being a nightmare, and getting their computer to set up was being absolutely atrocious. So I just had to make the call, and they're not going to be joining me um, today. So I guess you just get me by myself today. I hope everybody's okay with that. So um, it's just been crazy hectic trying to get that all going, and I apologize for the delay, but I've been trying to get everything here as situated as possible, and I'm not even situated. So, how's everybody doing? Hope you all are doing well. And with that being said, um, just a quick overview for today's show. I've got some bills in Japan I'm going to be talking about. I've got a story about a Jehovah Witness lady who had a heart transplant, and we have another story about um, Russia and some inmates that have been released and what have happened to them that were witnesses. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and roll the intro and we'll get into the show. All right, so I'm doing a solo act this morning, so hope y'all can tolerate me just talking today. um, so first of all, I'm going to go ahead and start off with a Japan story I got here for y'all, and let me just go ahead and share this with you here. Yada do do do. So Japan is doing something really awesome here, and this I think is just absolutely fantastic. Okay, they're trying to get a bill passed that aims to prevent religious organizations from sending their assets overseas and transferring them out. Let me go ahead and make that a little bit bigger. Yeah, I don't have anybody to tell me to make it bigger. Where's the people to tell me to make it bigger? So, and with this being said, though, if this bill hits and the Jehovah's Witnesses have to keep their assets all within the country, that is great news. And the reason I say that is because we know that with Australia and with other countries, they move their assets around to try to make it look like they're not as big or as wealthy as they really are. And so, with Japan trying to get this kind of a law passed, they won't be able to do that. And they're going to set up a system of the government to monitor this as well. So they're going to have to report all their assets and keep them in the country. And the purpose of this is to help whenever they have to make reparations to victims or things like that. So that way, their assets for that country are all in one area, and they sorry, I'm reading comments and doing this. This is new to me, so bear with me. Um, so all their assets will be in one spot, and they'll be able to help actually use that money to help victims rather than just send it away. But again, we're talking about the Jehovah's Witness organization, okay? They're going to fight this tooth and nail, I'm sure. On top of that, they're probably, before any of this bill gets passed or anything, will probably want to try to get everything out of the country that they can before this law goes into effect. I wouldn't put that past them at this point. So, it's one of those things we got to keep an eye on, because there's always sleazy ways that they can do things and try to twist it around and make it look bad or good on them. But in the end, this is an absolutely fantastic law. It's going to be great, especially for victims of abuses within the organizations, and not just the witness organization either. This will go whole country to get some help when they need it, because these organizations will have to keep their assets in the country. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and move on to my next story for y'all. So, Russia has got prisoners, of course, that we know of Jehovah's Witnesses that they've held because of their stance on the religion, their extremism. They won't um they won't stop doing their work, the witnesses. They'll still go do their meetings. They'll still do their preaching no matter what these governments say. And that's why these witnesses have been put in prison by Russia because of this. So this brother, quote unquote brother, gets released from prison. All right. Well, he doesn't get to stay in Russia. He has actually been deported from Russia, and he's gone back to his birthplace, which is in the capital of Turkmenistan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And, you know, this is just one of the things now, in a way, like, I don't think, according to the article, he didn't want to be sent back to his homeland, which I can get that, especially if you have a life and you're settled in an area, you want to stay in that area. However, I do think it is a good thing in a way because now he is out of that country that's putting witnesses in prison for practicing their religion under their extremism laws. And he's not being a poster child for Watchtower to be persecuted. So kudos to him, yay for him. And I I actually wish nothing but the best for him. And the reason why I'm kind of going through these stories a little bit fast is because the last story that I have, I kind of wanted to hit on a little bit longer because I've got extra information to add to that as well. So, but you know, these stories aren't too bad actually. Oh, and by the way, yeah, I actually meant to say something else. Um, this today's show is actually our 1 year anniversary. Last year was our very first show on this day. It was actually this December 7th, but we do it on Wednesday. So obviously it's the 6th this year. But December 7th of last year was our first show. So today is our 1 year anniversary show. So we have made it a year on this show, and my, how it's grown. And so, everybody, thank you for all your support and jumping into the comments every week. I have a blast doing it. I know Ryan does. I know she's not feeling well, Ryan. I hope you get better soon. Um, but yeah, it's been 1 year, and I wanted to divert real quick. If I can find it real quick, I'm going to do this. Um, because I think it's kind of funny how our very first show started off. And I'm going to stop sharing this. So I know I'm getting sidetracked here a little bit, but I hope you have a little fun with this because I like to try and do that and have a little fun sometimes here. So I'm going to show just a minute or so of our very first episode from last year. And this is just going to be crazy because, like, we had a very rough start. I mean, it was rough. Let me go ahead and share this up here with you.
First show, and guess what, James? We're not perfect. Did you know that?
No.
Children alike, and say, okay, wait, this is wrong. We can't allow this.
Hey, for our viewers just popping in, I apologize to cut you off. I just realized that for this first 5 minutes, the video was not showing. I'm using a program I haven't used. It should be showing now. I just want to apologize for that error. Next week, I'll make sure to not let that happen.
Well, this is our first show, and guess what, James? We're not perfect. Did you know that?
No, we're not. Oh, man. I will tell you though that since then we have gotten perfect. So we've worked on it. We've gotten better, right? At least I hope so. Oh, I know that lighting was terrible, Sam. Oh, it was just terrible back then. I changed things up in the studio since then, but yeah, that lighting was terrible. Yeah, and that first show, we did 5 minutes. We went through we had our whole intro, we had been talking and had the song and you know, no intro song. 5 minutes of the show was just gone. It was, but it was fun though. I mean, we really went through our growing pains in this last year, and I'm sure we still got more to go through. But that this first year, we had those stumbling blocks. Like we didn't have um we weren't using StreamYard at first, so like we were using a couple other programs, and then it was little rough with the how to run it and everything. And then once we switched to StreamYard, things started getting smoother. And then as you see through the year, we changed our logos, we changed designs on the show and everything. So, yes, Ken, I thought about doing a montage, man, but I really did not have the time to make one up. I just did not. I've been working so many hours, not just at work, but also at home working on my house. So, I really wanted to do that, but I just didn't have the time. But if you want a montage, my suggestion is to go back and watch all of the shows again. And you can have a complete montage in your head. I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying. So, okay. Now, with that being said, let me go on to our final story here this morning that I have for y'all. And we have an 85-year-old Jehovah Witness lady who had a heart transplant without blood. Now, this is huge. And I say that because this lady was suffering with heart failure for a long time. And there was only like 3 hospitals in the entire country that do bloodless surgery for a heart transplant. One of them's in Chicago, the other's in LA, and the other one's in Texas. And I she ended up going to the one in Chicago. That's the one that accepted her. Actually, one of the programs denied her coming because of something on her medical um, uh, chart that they didn't want to deal with. Okay. So she gets to this hospital in Chicago. What they did actually, and they actually really respected this lady's beliefs, which big props to the doctors, huge props to these doctors because these doctors are the miracle for this lady. Okay. They have the specialty, they have the training, they have the education to put into practice that saved this lady's life and got her a heart transplant. You were not going to find this in the Jehovah's Witness organization of people doing this. They are the real miracle here. And when they do this procedure, they actually put up big signs in like the doors and the areas around it, no blood. They keep it all away from her because they're really respecting her beliefs and her position, which kudos to these doctors. Now, it's sad that, this lady has to go through this without having this backup, but I'm also happy that she survived this and it's a success story as well. And the other big thing about this is she had a heart transplant. And I know I said that already, but the reason why I say that is because if you go back to the 1960s, and I looked this up on JW Facts about this, okay? In 1961, okay, they were asking about if the Bible says anything against uh, transplants or organ transplants at all. And at that point, in the Watchtower, August 1st, 1961, page 480. It's a questions from readers. The answer to that, they says, it does not seem that any scriptural principle or law is involved. Therefore, it is something that each individual must decide for himself. Now, that was in 61. They turned the corner in 1967. November 15th, 1967 Watchtower, pages 702 to 704. It says, sustaining one's life by means of the body or part of the body of another human would be cannibalism, a practice abhorrent to all civilized people. It is not our place to decide whether such operations are advisable from a scientific or medical standpoint. Christians who have been enlightened by God's word do not need to make these decisions based simply on the basis of personal whim or emotion. They can consider the divine principles and use these in making personal decisions as they look to God for direction. Now, I'm going to stop right there because on the one hand, at the end of it, it sounds like they're giving you the air of choice. Okay. But when they use that word cannibalism and the negative connotation that they're putting on this practice of organ transplants, you can really tell that they're putting this negative light on it. And therefore, all the followers are going to just be like, no, I can't do this. This is not right. It's cannibalism. I'm not going to be a cannibal. So it's just sad how they flip their tune. And then, of course, we know later they flip back on that because obviously this lady wouldn't be having a heart transplant if they didn't flip-flop their doctrine again on this. So it's just, yes, Jenny, exactly. Exactly. It is horrific because a transplant and a medical procedure is nothing like cannibalism in reality. No more so than a blood transfusion is like eating blood, which the Bible says to abstain from eating blood, because your body does two completely different things with it when it's transfused versus when it's eaten. So their basis for it is already way off as it is. And it's just so ridiculous that they have to sit there and make laws on these things for people, or rules, I should say, for these people, that their own book that they claim to follow doesn't even have these rules in it for them. So, I mean, this is, but like going back to this lady, you know, this is, I'm so happy she survived. I'm so happy she can have her life and, you know, be healthy again as much as she can for the time she has, you know, left. And I'm so grateful that we have modern medicine, you know, to do these. Really, it's our own miracles, I think, that, you know, with modern medicine, you know, because we couldn't have conceived of this a couple hundred years ago. So, I mean, kudos to those doctors, big time. I mean, I just can't give them enough praise because they're the real heroes of the story, especially because these doctors go out of their way to study up on these things and to see how they can put into practice bloodless medical procedures for Jehovah's Witnesses specifically to save their asses. You know, don't talk to me about how this world has nothing but terrible people in it when you got medical doctors coming out here trying to save your behinds off of your beliefs. So that's all I got to say on that. Um, anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed my rantings this morning. Uh, you know, kind of odd doing it by myself because got nobody to bounce off of and laugh at. So I just get to kind of laugh at myself for my own jokes. And I hope y'all are laughing with me because I can't hear you on the other end over there. But with that being said, that's all I got for you today. Everybody, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you can. And please help those algorithms out by watching these videos and sharing them with everybody as well. Also, don't forget, if you feel like it, we can uh, we have the buy me a coffee link in the description below for anybody that feels like doing that. And also, all the um, links for the stories are in the description below, including the link for the JW Facts article to talk about that shows you the organ transplant doctrine flip flopping back and forth as well. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful week. I hope you all are staying warm and healthy and safe. And, again, thank you everybody for showing up today. Had great turnout. Sorry about the delay. Hopefully one of these days I can get my dad back on with me again, and we'll try to iron out the technical details before. Oh, thank you, Sam. Yes, I will do that. Sam just reminded me to add the Discord link in the description. Let me do that. And I'm going to actually add that into the comments right now. So give me just 1 second here. Appreciate you, Sam. I will be doing that, copying it. And there you go. There's the Discord link for anybody who wants to join our Discord over at the Apostate Coalition. But that's all I got for you today. Thanks again. Also, remember everybody, apostate your way, and we'll see you all next week. Love y'all. Have a great week.